Welcome everybody to Cinema Royale. I'm Travis Hobson of Punch Drunk Critics. I'm already laughing, which is stupid. As you can tell, we are talking Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I've got my homie Chris Bumbray from Jillbo.com to talk about it. What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm wearing my Indiana Jones shirt. Actually,
Ah,
it's all
they
the
had a,
like the
that's
Ark of
dope.
the
That's
Covenant
pretty
here.
tight.
That's all the stuff that he found.
That's pretty tight. The
I,
the the company I get my shirts from, they had an Indiana Jones drop, and I hated all the shirts.
oh,
So,
this is box lunch. Yeah,
oh yeah.
I have to give them a heads up. They send me stuff sometimes, and it's really nice.
I
The
just
Flash
realized
the
I don't
Flash
have any.
stuff was okay. The Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse stuff was amazing, though.
I bet.
Really good. I mean,
That
that movie inspires creativity, I
all the
think.
best stuff for the best movie I think of the
Yeah.
year so
I have
far.
to apologize for sweating. It's weird weather. It's too cold to run the air conditioner, but it's
Yeah.
also like humid at the same time, like raining and stuff. So I'm in a weird kind of sticky, and we
You're in
didn't
a
have
sticky situation just like Indiana Jones always
yeah,
finds
yeah.
himself in. Uh I feel like you and I might come out on different ends of this movie because I don't
Yeah,
feel
man.
like
Well, I
you
didn't
liked
like
it
it at
that
all.
much,
So there you
honestly.
go.
Indiana
Spoiler
Jones: The
alert.
Dial of Destiny, directed by James Mangold, who takes over from Steven Spielberg. And
Who
Mangold
mangled the movie?
Mangold, Mangold, I think this guy. I think he does a pretty good job, honestly. And I honestly had a lot of fun with this movie, not expecting much. And I had to think about it for a while, and I was like, I don't look. I'm probably an apologist to these movies more than most. I actually don't think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the worst thing in the world.
Me neither. I
It's
mean,
it's
I
fine.
liked it more than this
It's fine.
one.
But nothing can stand against the onslaught of nostalgia. Like we all compare everything to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think Temple of Doom isn't really that great either, but I still compare it as favorably to, to the things that come after, just because I watched it as a kid. And I
Yeah.
feel like this movie is going to suffer for that for a lot of people because we can't help but compare it to the stuff that we watched.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like the original trilogy is like the three perfect action movies. Like they
Right.
really are, and it's crazy that these movies were made in the '80s, and you can watch them now, and they're not really dated. They hold up, and they're
It's
better than
crazy
they.
that Last Crusade was what, 89?
Yeah, and I
That's
remember when it came
insane.
out, and you could put those movies out in theaters, and they're more entertaining than anything else that comes out there. But they're
Right.
tight. They're like 2 hour movies. That's the thing. People have forgotten how to make this movie. Didn't need to be 2.5 hours
It did
long.
not. It did not. It definitely did not. It is definitely overlong. But I do think it tells us a pretty good story to send Indiana Jones out on. And of course, it finds him as an older man. He's single. He's going through a divorce. He's living in a cramped apartment. He's kind of in his twilight, which yeah, as we know he probably should be. And he gets roped into this quest to find the Archimedes dial, a quest that brings along his goddaughter, his shady goddaughter, Helena, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And of course, you've got Nazis involved, played by Mads Mikkelsen and Boyd Holbrook. We're also looking for it as well. The dial has superpowers of some kind. It's really a MacGuffin. Everybody knows that. But this is what they're searching for. And of course, Indy and Helena go through all sorts of madcap adventures. I was surprised at how violent this was in the early going of the movie too.
I
A
found
lot
it
of people
wasn't violent
died.
enough though compared to Indiana Jones movies. Like I think they were going for realism at the beginning, but then you never have one of those big gore moments though that you get in the other Indiana Jones movies. Like there's no face melting, heart pulling, the aging from even like there's the red ants in Crystal Skull. And this one I felt like the PG-13 was really evident because they pull it way down. I feel like they did some kind of gory death for the villains and then they cut it out. I mean, to
I
me,
think there's probably a lot of things that were massaged in this movie.
oh, I mean, Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, I feel like she was reshot. The problem with her is that I liked her at first. I liked it when they kind of built her up as this kind of Belloc type character, right? The female Belloc, and that's interesting.
Yeah,
But then the end of the movie, she's suddenly like ultra noble and ultra heroic, and that doesn't mesh up with where it was going. They should have made
right.
her more of an anti-hero, and I feel
As
like they get
good
nervous.
as
They get
good
nervous about
as
doing female anti-heroes. They
yeah,
totally do.
as good as Phoebe Waller-Bridge is, I do think she's really quite funny and got a nice swagger to her that I like. I like that aspect of her character. It's true, her character does sort of seem to be whatever the plot needs her to be at
They
the moment.
water her down like crazy. And
Yeah, she starts
the,
off and she's pretty unlikable in the beginning because she's
which
people
is
are
when I
dying,
liked
she
him
doesn't
more.
care. She sets up her god for her godfather. She sets him up to take the fall for a crime, basically. She doesn't seem to
Basically Bellic,
care.
yeah.
Yeah, she's in it for the money and all that kind of stuff. She's like everything Indiana Jones is not, you know. And of course, she does get softened throughout this journey quite a
The
bit.
worst thing about the movie
The
is
kid,
kid's sidekick. It is,
the kid is terrible.
I don't know why they brought this kid in. He's this kind of street kid from Egypt. He's like a short round ripoff. And at the end of the movie, he's piloting a plane like he's Anakin Skywalker. It's like the
Thought about
Phantom
that.
Menace all over
I
again.
thought about that too. I thought of when I thought about him behind the seat of that whatever that ship was in Phantom Menace, and I was like, this kind of feels like him and
People
like
are gonna laugh at
Jake
it.
Lloyd.
They're gonna
Yeah,
laugh at it, and I feel bad for the kid because it's they shoehorned it in because they're trying to be.
he's probably not gonna get a ton of other roles after this. That's
I
why.
feel bad for him. That screws the kid over though, and and people are gonna hate that character and they're gonna
Yeah,
mock him, and it's not fair because he's a kid.
he's not a
But
good character.
it's for me, Travis. The thing is that what made it so frustrating is there are parts of it that I liked. The stuff that Mangold is doing is good, right? So I think the older Indiana Jones stuff is great, and I like how they introduce him with Magical Mystery Tour. I like Harrison Ford's performance in the movie. I liked the
I
end.
love the DH sequence in the beginning too. I thought that was really
Hated the
good.
DH sequence.
I
I
loved
hate
it.
this. I hate this deep fake shit. I don't think it ever looks
I
realistic.
think I thought it looked really good in this, better
It
than I've
looks
seen
good in
anything
still
yet.
images, but when he moves, it looks weird.
No, the thing that was off about him was the voice. The
Oh, the
voice
voice
wasn't
is
right.
terrible, and they could have
I,
used.
I
Yeah,
thought he looked great, even in motion. I thought he looked really good. I just couldn't match up the fact that he still sounded like 80-year-old Harrison Ford.
because the thing about that is, first of all, the technology is already caught up that they could change it now. It's
Right.
it's crazy how much it's changed in 6 months, but the good thing about it is Harrison Ford still moves like a young man. I mean, the problem with The Irishman was that De Niro, when he was playing a 40-year-old, he still moved like he was in his 70s, like when he curb stomps the guy, and
Yeah,
it was just
yeah,
like the most ridiculous thing ever.
yeah.
But then, it's like, Harrison Ford still moves like a young man, yeah, the voice was terrible because it's like he is this old man's voice and it doesn't mesh up with the young Indiana Jones. But I don't think they needed to do the deep fake stuff. And also though, the thing about the deep fake part though is it has the best villain. That villain is better.
Kretschmann?
Yeah, he's way better than Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen's character sucks. Like he is the worst villain in the series
Not
ever.
particularly
Worse than
correct.
Kate Blanchett.
And I didn't like Boyd Holbrook in this either. He didn't really seem.
But Obek's terrible. He's terrible.
I like that
And
they had the. I like that. I like that the in the present day it's set in the 1960s, right? And then so you get like the cultural change that's going on. They have the black agent with the afro and everything.
but I don't
That was
understand
a cool
why would
touch.
she be working with Nazis though? And not only that, but they're killing innocent people, and she's supposed to be the CIA. If it was anything,
But she didn't know she was working with Nazis.
no, but they're killing innocent people though, and she's kind of like, oh hey, don't do that. Like it's more. I'm sorry, she's a CIA agent. You're not going to allow that. I'm sorry. No matter how much people think the CIA is evil, I'm going to close the windows. Sorry, there's road work going on outside.
I can't. It makes me really bad. I can't hear anything.
Oh, okay.
No, but I thought that was kind of like alluding to some of the shadiness of the of the agency in its early going.
Yeah, but they're not going around just murdering people willy nilly. I mean, I don't care. They might have killed Kennedy, but I don't know if they
might have had a different mandate. We were talking about an item that apparently had like superpowers. So yeah. I mean, the mandate to just get it at any cost, I think, was the point that they were trying to prove there. That actually didn't bother me so much. It's just I liked the fact that they add those cultural touches to it. I also like the fact that I love the scene where Indy's teaching and the kids are all bored because it's such a contrast to the Indy that we've seen in previous movies where all the women are like the students are like fawning over his every word. It's just a show of how things have changed for him. I like that stuff. And you're right. That aspect of Indiana Jones, Mangold would have been great. I mean, the guy who gave us Logan would have been great to give us a movie that just called Indiana.
Just
right?
a smaller movie if they'd done something. I mean, The action scenes I thought were terrible. I didn't find any of them memorable. It was all just like something you'd see in a Marvel movie. Like there was
They were
nothing
like
memorable.
they were like lesser versions of things they did in the past.
Yeah, and how do you make an Indiana Jones movie where I can't remember any of the action scenes because nothing happens in them that I thought was impressive. The chase through the marketplace. I remember seeing that at Cinema
Good.
Royale, thinking
It's
the movie
good,
was
but it's not
trouble.
special, but it's good. But I also kind of expected the physicality and the action and stuff like that to be a little bit lesser because Harrison Ford's older. That's kind of
But
how I
just don't
expected.
put him in the same situations though. Like they could have made it they could have made it a little bit more, a little smaller, and I think it would have been so much better because that was the best stuff in the movie. Best part of the movie is when he like throws the whip at the people in the bazaar. Like that kind of thing he could be doing. I like that. I like him punching people, but I found that they don't do enough of that. It's him jumping from bike to bike like he's Spider-Man. I don't buy an 80-year-old doing that. It's the same problem I had with that Schwarzenegger show, Fubar. I watched 10 minutes of it. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I tried to finish
awful.
it and I couldn't.
And it's like Schwarzenegger jumping off of a car and doing like a bunch of flips where you can tell that's so clearly a stuntman who doesn't even have a body like Schwarzenegger's. I like Stallone, where Stallone is doing what Stallone can do. And if Stallone can't do it, then the character is not going to do it.
The Expendables movie looks terrible too, by the way.
He knows it's terrible,
The
though.
new Expendables movie looks
He's been
terrible.
alluding to how bad it is on Instagram for months now. And I think he dies within the first 15 minutes. I think he wants out. I think they cut him a nice check and it's like, goodbye.
It does not look great.
Tulsa King season 2.
I don't want to see an Expendables without him either.
I mean,
So I
either.
actually don't want this one. I didn't want them to do this one.
I think 50 Cent is the star.
That's awful. I don't
He financed it. I mean,
again.
the guy's making money though with like BMF and everything. Like he's a snappy businessman. I'll say that. Like I have to give him credit. He's a good businessman.
I don't begrudge his business sense. I just don't want to see that movie.
I know what you mean.
Anyway.
Have been Omari Hardwick instead.
Omar Hardwick, if he's not busy enough.
Yeah.
No, but I think that the action, like I said, was tailored more to what he can do as best as he can, and I thought it was fine. But it seems like it's also more functional in this movie than it does in other ones where it's like big and fun and sweeping and stuff like that. And this one, it just seems like the action is there to get you from place to place and point to point, and that's all it is. It's fine, but there's nothing in it that you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that sequence for this.
And I hated all the stuff that they're doing to juice it up. Like even just the simple thing where you're on the map, the red line, how they make it, you're following it. Like I hated that. It's just that like sums up why I didn't like the movie. There are parts of it that I really like, but it's never been at the point where I've seen an Indiana Jones movie. I went out to go to the bathroom at one point. I didn't rush back because I just didn't. It was this. I felt the same way watching this movie that I did when I was watching Rise of Skywalker. I just didn't feel like it was an Indiana Jones movie. I mean, these movies should feel like events. Even Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, as goofy as it is at times, it's an Indiana Jones movie.
Right.
I feel like this was made for Disney Plus. It's episodic. It's made in a way so that it could be broken up into like half-hour episodes and a 6-hour limited series of Indiana Jones. That's what it felt like.
This felt like the movie that they needed to have to send Indy on his way.
It felt like,
and I feel like, I like,
they had another.
I like some of the character developments with them. I like that we get to see Indiana Jones become part of history and not just an observer and a protector of it. I think that's great. I think that's an aspect I wanted to see from him, to see how he would react. That
Why
part,
is
I think
Antonio
it's
Banderas
fantastic,
in it?
even if the scenario is ridiculous. And then you got like the kid flying around and that's stupid. Like stuff around it isn't great, but seeing that character point for him, I thought was really important and really special. I like that. And Harrison Ford is gung ho for all of it, which I think is fantastic. Because
why is Antonio Banderas in the movie?
I don't know why Antonio Banderas is in the movie.
He has like 3 lines of dialogue. Why
it's
cast
stupid
him?
that he's in the movie? It's dumb. It's dumb that he's in the movie unless he just had like this lifelong dream to be in an Indiana Jones movie. And if that's the case, great.
I feel like
I still think you
like
expand that character because you have Antonio Banderas in it.
I feel like he was a bad guy at one point and they reshot it. That would have been the only thing that made sense.
I feel like there was just a bigger part there and it probably got chopped away.
I
which is probably for the better because the movie didn't need to be as long as it was anyway.
Yeah, it's endless.
So,
Endless.
anyway. But like I said, I came out on the positive end. I do agree with you about Mads Mikkelsen's villain. I don't think he's very
The
impressive.
worst villain they've ever had.
I don't think he's very impressive at all. So that sucks. This movie to me is all about Indy and Helena. And I think she's kind of, unfocused as a character. I still like the dynamic between those two. And I like that they tied up a major plot point from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull regarding,
that was the best part. That was probably my favorite part of the
everybody
movie,
hates.
I
got to see my two favorite characters come back. I got to see Karen Allen return. I love Karen Allen in everything. I just love her, and I still love her. And John Rhys Davies. I got to see him come back. So
I liked that part of the movie. Yes.
Yeah, the nostalgia bits work great for me.
But the rest of it, I just, oh my God, I hated it. It was but depressing because I wouldn't have hated it that much if it wasn't an Indiana Jones movie. I would have been like, oh, it's just disposable Disney fluff. But I just find Disney stuff has gotten bad lately. Like they haven't had a good movie. I think they've had 2 good movies in the last year. I think Wakanda Forever was good because he had a really good director and a reason for the movie happening. And I think Guardians 3 was quite good. But otherwise, everything they've put out has been just
they're pretty flat.
Flat. Yeah, I liked Elemental more than most people.
Elemental's pretty flat.
It's minor,
but it's very minor Pixar.
Yeah, I liked it more though than most people. But then everything else has just been like, I do not have high hopes for Haunted Mansion. That's for sure.
For which one?
Haunted Mansion.
No, definitely not.
I just hope Justin Simien took the check, is moving on.
Haunted Mansion might do Jungle Cruise numbers or something.
Yeah,
it might do that.
Another forgettable movie.
Another very forgettable movie that they're somehow doing a sequel to, or for whatever reason. I don't know why. This is the
that
problem.
Said, I am looking forward to seeing the next Hobbs movie, Hobbs and Dante.
That seems like it could be amazing.
I just find that's hilarious that everybody hates Vin Diesel so much that like Jason Momoa is the main villain in the series now, and it's like I don't want to do a movie with Vin Diesel. All right, we'll just give him the rock.
But he's still coming back for 11 though. So
I feel like you'll never see him and Vin Diesel on screen again together. It is going to have a scene of Vin Diesel
because Vin Diesel isn't in any scenes with anybody in these movies anymore.
They hate him because he's annoying.
And like the last 3 movies, Dom always has something going on that separates him from the rest of the group.
Yeah, because
they go off and they have their misadventures together, but he's never part of it. And it's always just like, what?
I've heard that they're all going to be in the Hobbs and Dante movie, except for
him. Except for him.
Careful, if that movie makes more money than Fast X did. Like
how badly that movie's done in the domestically, it's
terribly. But then if Hobbs and Dante suddenly does really well domestically, that franchise is going to go on, and Vin Diesel is not going to be in it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the one thing Fast and Furious has proven is that it can survive without him.
Maybe him and his kid actually did die when he blew up the fucking canyon.
As someone who is voicing all of these Fast and Furious revisited things, I know that the franchise can live without him. Yeah. So it's okay. Maybe they'll just jump ahead 20 years and it'll just be his son.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't have to ever. Fast and Furious Forever. That'll be what it's called. Anyway, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny opens. It's probably out now in most places, but June 30th. You can check it out in theaters, of course. Chris Bumbray, JoeBull.com. Appreciate you coming on here, man, to talk about it. You and I will be seeing each other soon in Comic-Con. Can't wait. Maybe there'll be some Indiana Jones stuff there. Maybe that'll be cool. Maybe.
That would be great.
The last time I saw Harrison Ford was actually at Comic-Con. And it was for Ender's Game.
Oh wow.
I know. And I remember that panel and I was like, it was amazing that Harrison Ford was there, number one, but he was particularly curmudgeonly that day.
Oh, what a surprise. He seems like he's on better meds for this tour.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the quality of
we didn't get to talk to him, so
it depends on the quality of questions that he gets from idiot fans like us. So
there was that one thing that went viral where it's like, are you going to be the Red Hulk or your pants come. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. He probably has no idea that Thunderbolt Ross is like the Red Hulk
He
or
for sure
whatever.
read the script and that's it.
Oh my God. Harrison Ford's funny. Anyway, this has been Cinema Royale. I'm Travis Hobson. You can find me every day at punchdrunkcritics.com, and you can download and like and subscribe to Cinema Royale anywhere you get your podcasts, or watch us on YouTube, as a lot of you are probably doing right now. All right. Thanks a lot. See you guys later. See you next week. Bye. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.